Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to start one important topic of analytical reasoning, and that is puzzles. Now, puzzles have lot of variations, as high as like 6 to 7 variations. Let's have a look at the variations that can be created inside puzzles. The most commonly asked, the most commonly framed questions on the puzzles are classification, that we are going to do today. Then we have selection based puzzles. There are puzzles based on box, floor based, scheduling, ranking, and in fact, a couple of times even the blood relation based puzzles can also be there, which we have already covered under the blood relations session. So, in this particular session, we are going to take up the classification based puzzles. Now, you might say that kind of sitting arrangements and puzzles are same, and yes, they are very much similar, with one major difference between sitting arrangements and puzzles, because it's ultimately about arranging the data. The major difference is that sitting arrangements, we talk a lot about directions, whereas puzzles, there is no mention of direction, or rather I can say they are directionless. Of course, both kind of questions have some clues, and based on which we have to figure out the data or arrange the data. Okay, so the major difference is, one is absolutely based on directions, as we have seen in seating arrangements, that left, right, opposite, second to the left, those all things matter. Whereas puzzles, it's about, no concept of direction is there. Now, as I've said, classification puzzles is majorly about sorting of data. So, we would have a lot of data in front of us, and we have to sort it into a meaningful arrangement. So, we have to, take one kind of data towards one side, and then, it's kind of sorting and filtration of data. So in a puzzle, there could be a lot of information that is given to us, and the information given to us can be classified in three ways. One is definite data, other can be useful data, and the third could be negative data. Let me elaborate with the help of an example. Let's say we have a question where we have five friends, A, B, C, D, E. They are wearing shirts of five different colors, and they are traveling in five different vehicles. Now, if it is being said that A wears black shirt, so this is a definite data for me, because wherever I am placing A, so wherever I am placing A, I can place the color of the shirt is black in front of A. What could be useful data? Useful data is something which I might not use it apparently as of now, but it might become useful later on. For example, in the context of same data that I've shared, if it is being said to given to us is that the one wearing red shirt drives a Maruti. So all I can conclude from here, that the whosoever be the person who's wearing a red shirt is traveling in a Maruti. But I still don't know this piece of information. Should I place it with A or B or C or D or E? So this is something I have to take care of, and I might use it later on in the question. So this is useful data. It's not the definite data for me. Now, what is negative data? Negative data would be like B is not driving Santro. So that's telling me that under no circumstances I cannot combine B with Santro. So whenever we are sorting off puzzles, or whenever we are solving classification puzzles, it becomes really really important to even put the negative data wherever I am arranging the information given to me, because that helps me, or that reduces my time that I'll be putting in going back to the question again and again. We'll be seeing in by taking some examples how we can use the definite data, the useful data, and the negative data. So let's get started. Let's take a couple of examples to understand how classification puzzles are to be approached. So here is the first example. So here we have 6 boys, A, B, C, D, E, and F. 6 boys, each belonging to a different city: Delhi, Agra, Kanpur, Lucknow, Pilibhit, and Jaipur. Not necessarily in the same order. So the order of the cities is random. Each of them got selected in a different bank, which are Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, UCO Bank, Vijaya Bank, Dena Bank, and Central Bank. Not necessarily in the same order. That means again the names of the banks are in random order. Now, so we have 6 boys. They have to be matched with 6 different cities and 6 different banks. Now, when you read the subsequent data, you see most of the data has been given in context of the person's name, that is A, B, C, D, E, F. So whenever we are solving classification puzzles, we have to fix a primary parameter. Here I am seeing that the data has been given as per the boys' names. So I'll fix up my primary parameter to the boy's name. So we have 6 boys. The data to be matched or to arranged is city and the bank. So let's get started with how we can sort this data. B belongs to Jaipur. So I have a definite information here that B belongs to Jaipur, but did not get selected in either Dena or Canara. So now this is the negative information, and it is very important for me to note that also. So I'll put a cross here that B will not be selected in Dena or Canara. D does not belong either to Delhi or Lucknow. So I would have negation with D, and I'm writing the short form of the cities so that I know I don't have to place D and L, that is Delhi or Lucknow, with the boy named D. But he got selected in Syndicate Bank. So there's a surety of the bank with D that he got selected in Syndicate Bank. The one who got selected in Dena Bank doesn't belong to Jaipur. That's already been plotted here. The one who got selected in Central Bank belongs to Lucknow. Now, this is a kind of useful data. All I know that Central Bank and Lucknow will go to one person only, but I really don't know as of now that this has to be allotted to whom. अभी हमें नहीं पता कि ये दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन हमें किसको अलॉट करना है. सो हम इसको साइड में रख लेते हैं कि सेंट्रल बैंक और लखनऊ साथ में जाएंगे. ठीक है. F did not get selected in Dena Bank, so I'll have a negation with the F. Either C or F got selected in UCO Bank. So UCO Bank जो होगा वो C या F के बीच में ही कहीं अलॉट होगा. But neither of them belongs to Pilibhit or Lucknow. So I'll put a negation here कि इनकी cities में पीलीभीत या लखनऊ नहीं आ सकता. A belongs to Kanpur and इसकी city की choices हैं Canara और UCO Bank. F does not belong to Delhi. F doesn't belong to Delhi. So now we have put up all the data which was given in the question. अभी हमने यहाँ पे सब place कर दिया है. अब हम further data को further data का placement देखते हैं. अब आप देखिए लखनऊ जो सिटी है, A और B की सिटी हमें ऑलरेडी पता है. लखनऊ C को अलॉट नहीं किया जा सकता, D को अलॉट नहीं किया जा सकता और F को भी अलॉट नहीं किया जा सकता है. That leaves us with only one possibility, that Lucknow would be allotted to E. Now the moment you allot Lucknow to E, bank would be Central Bank. Why? Because it was already given to us. The one who got selected in Central Bank will belong to Lucknow. Okay. Now F के लिए जो सिटी है, पीलीभीत नहीं है, लखनऊ नहीं है, दिल्ली नहीं है, कानपुर और जयपुर ऑलरेडी अलॉट हो चुका है. तो एफ के लिए जो हमारी सिटी बचती है वो है आगरा. देना बैंक का नेगेशन हमें बी के साथ दिया हुआ है, एफ के साथ दिया हुआ है, और ए के जो बैंक है वो कैनरा या यूको में से ही होगा. सो देना बैंक अलॉट करने के लिए हमारे पास एक ही पॉसिबिलिटी बचती है, दैट इज सिटी, दैट इज पर्सन सी. Now cities left are Delhi and Pilibhit. Delhi cannot go with D, so Delhi will go to C and Pilibhit will go to D. So here if you notice that writing these negations have helped me in putting up the data at the right place, and I don't have to read the question again and again. Now it was given to us that C या F में से किसी एक का यूको बैंक होगा. C को हम ऑलरेडी देना बैंक दे चुके हैं, दैट मीन्स F को अब हम यूको बैंक देंगे. यदि यूको बैंक हमने F को दे दिया तो A के लिए बैंक बचेगा कैनरा, एंड B के लिए अब एक ही बैंक बचता है विच इज विजया बैंक. तो ये हमारा फाइनल अरेंजमेंट है. नाउ वी हैव फिगर्ड आउट दैट A belongs to Kanpur, has been selected in Canara Bank. B belongs to Jaipur with Vijaya Bank. C belongs to Delhi and he's been selected in Dena Bank. D belongs to Pilibhit with Syndicate Bank. E comes from Lucknow, working in Central Bank, and F belongs to Agra, selected in UCO Bank. I hope it is clear that how you have to use the useful information, useful data, and the negative data. I'll repeat again, it is extremely critical to note down the negative data in the question. Let's solve one more problem. So here we have P, Q, R, S, T, V, W and Z, 8 friends studying in 3 different engineering colleges, A, B and C, in 3 disciplines, mechanical, electrical and electronics. So we have 8 people, 3 different engineering colleges in 3 different disciplines, with not less than 2 and not more than 3 in any college. Now, हर college में और हर discipline में we have a limiting condition कि 2 से कम नहीं और 3 से ज़्यादा नहीं. अब यदि आपको 8 लोगों को इस तरह से डिवाइड करना होगा, सो एक ही पॉसिबल तरीका हो सकता है, वो है 3-3-2. इसका मतलब किन्हीं 2 कॉलेजेस में 3-3 स्टूडेंट्स होंगे और किसी एक कॉलेज में 2 होंगे. एंड सिमिलरली व्हेन वी लुक एट डिसिप्लिन आल्सो, वी कुड से that in 2 disciplines there would be 3 students each, and in one of the discipline there would be only 2 students. Okay, so these are the limiting conditions with available with us. As we can see, not more than 3 of them study in any of the 3 disciplines. So let's start the arrangement of the data here. So again, as we read the data, we see primary parameter क्या है यहाँ पे, ये friends के नाम है. मैक्सिमम डेटा उनके नाम के हिसाब से दिया हुआ है. सो विल टेक प्राइमरी पैरामीटर एज द नेम्स. सो विल हैव P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, Z. इनके साथ हमें मैच करना है कॉलेज एंड द डिसिप्लिन. लेट्स स्टार्ट पुटिंग द डेटा. W studies electrical in college B. Okay, so we have W is in college B. He's studying electrical with only T. That means T is also in college B, who studies mechanical. Now pay attention to the word only here. Now when we read this, W studies electrical in college B with only T, this only words is telling me that college B has only 2 students, which we have already got, T and W. That means college A and C would have 3 students each. Okay. P and Z do not study in college C. So I'll put a negation here that I will not have college C here. Study in the same discipline but not electrical. So discipline also I have a negation that it's not electrical. R studies mechanical with V who studies electrical. So they both have same college. Now P and Z, they do not study in college C. They cannot even go to college B because college B में 2 ही लोग हैं और जो हमें already मिल चुके हैं. Now when we look at this fact that P and Z do not study in college C, and we already have got 2 people who are in college B, so the only option left for P and Z that they would be in college A. कॉलेज सी में नहीं है और कॉलेज बी में ऑलरेडी जो 2 लोग थे वो हमको मिल चुके हैं. R and V are in the same college. We have to figure out which college they would be in. They cannot be in college B because college B, the 2 people have already figured out. College A already has 2 students. They can have only 1 more. So R and V cannot be allotted to college A. That means R and V would go to college C. S studies mechanical and does not study in the same college where R studies. That means S would study in college A, and that leaves us with the possibility that Q studies in college C. Now as far as subjects of P and Z are concerned, see, I've already got 3 people who are studying mechanical. So mechanical में अब और लोग allot नहीं किए जा सकते हैं. And we have P and Z, they are studying the same discipline but not electrical. So the possibility left for P and Z is that they would be studying electronics. Q does not study electronics. So Q would be studying electrical, as I've already achieved the upper limit of 3 people in the mechanical discipline. So this is how, we have to sort the data and also arrange it at the same time by keeping in mind the useful information and the negative information. So let's have a look at one more question. There are 6 persons A, B, C, D, E, F in a school. Each of the teachers teaches 2 subjects, one compulsory and the other optional. And there is a data given about the optional subject of these teachers as well as about their compulsory subject. So again, when we read the entire question, we can see the primary parameter here is the name of the persons. So we'll take primary parameter as the name of persons, that is A, B, C, D, E and F, and the 2 parameters are optional and compulsory. D's optional subject was history. I can put this. While 3 others have it as compulsory subject, can I use it as of now? No. E and F have physics as one of their subjects. Again, I cannot use it right now straight away. But this is a useful data for me, not the definite data. Now, F's compulsory subject is mathematics. So, F का compulsory mathematics है. And क्योंकि F का एक subject physics होना है, that means F का optional physics है. F's compulsory subject is mathematics, which is an optional subject of both C and E. Again, E has to have physics as one of the subjects. We have already got the optional subject for E. So the compulsory subject for E should be physics. History and English are A's subject. But in terms of compulsory and optional, they are just reversed of those of D. That means D का ऑप्शनल यदि हिस्ट्री है तो ए का कंपलसरी हिस्ट्री है. And the other subject for both of them is English. So A's optional would be English and D's compulsory would be English. Chemistry is an optional subject of only one of them and we have only left with B, जिसका optional अभी तक हमने figure out नहीं किया है. So B का optional subject chemistry होगा. And the first line that three people have history as their compulsory subject. So that has to go with A, B and C. Now the only female teacher in the school has English as a compulsory subject. So this tells me that D is a female teacher because she is the only one, or D is the only person who has English as the compulsory subjects, leading me to conclude that D is a female teacher. So in this question, we didn't have much of negative data. It was only the definite data and the useful data. Let's have a look at one more problem before we conclude this session. So here we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 girls having different amounts of money ranging from 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 120 and 200. They have 3 chocolates, 2 toffees and 2 lollipops. So there's one type of confectionery with each of the girls. So again we can see the primary data or the primary parameter here is the name of girls. So we'll use that. The other thing with them is the money and the confectionery. Toffee, lollipop or chocolate. B and F do not have chocolates. This is what? This is our negative data. So I'm using C for chocolate and I'm putting a negation cross. And they have 280 respectively. 280. C has rupees 60 with her. G has an amount which is neither 40 nor 120. A has 10 rupees and does not have a toffee. Okay. Now 10 rupees, 260 and 80 have already been allotted. G cannot have 40 and 120. So G can only have, or the only amount of money left for G is 20 rupees here. Now the last two pieces of data are extremely critical here. E and the girl having rupees 20. Now we know who is having rupees 20? G is having rupees 20. E and the girl having rupees 20 with her have the same kind of item. So E and G have the same type of confectionery with them. That's one kind of inference that we can draw from here. Other thing, the girl having rupees 40 with her, the girl having rupees 40 with her is the only one other than A to have the same kind of item. Now from this statement, we have to figure out who has rupees 40. I can allot rupees 40 to D or E. If I allot rupees 40 to E, so all I'm saying that A, E and G will have the same type of item. Now this is in contradiction to this line that the girl having rupees 40 with her is the only one other than A to have the same type of item. कहने का मतलब ये है कि A और जिस गर्ल के पास रुपीज 40 है उन दोनों के पास सेम आइटम है और वो किसी और के पास नहीं है. तो हमें ये सोचना है क्या हम E को 40 रुपीज अलॉट कर सकते हैं. तो हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे कि हम E को 40 रुपीज अलॉट नहीं कर सकते हैं क्योंकि उस केस में A, E और G तीनों के पास सेम आइटम होगा जो इस ओनली वर्ड का कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है. दैट मीन्स रुपीज 40 वुड गो टू D and 120 will go to E. Now A and D have the same kind of item and no one else has that item. So A does not have a toffee. That means the confectionery that can go with A and D is lollipop. It's been given to us that B and F cannot have chocolate. And two lollipops have already been allotted, so they would have toffee, leaving us with only one possibility, that C, E, and G will have chocolate here. So this is the final arrangement of data that is given to us. So here these statements, like this particular statement, the girl having rupees 40 with her is the only one other than A. So इसका interpretation यदि आप सही सेंस में नहीं करेंगे, then you would not be able to get the right solution. Okay, so you have to pay attention to the words like this: only, no one else, at least. So these words play a lot of importance when I'm trying to sort data. So in this particular session we have looked at maximum sorting of three parameters. In the next session of classification puzzles, we'll look at those problems where we have to filter and sort more trivial and more complex data. So thank you. Thanks a lot.